भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीनष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, observing the armies, chapter 1, verse number 39 to 42. So, welcome to the Gitamruta session. So, the continuation of first chapter. The last session we saw that. Let me read this verse first. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme naste kulam krishnam adharmo abhibhavati uta. Translation purport given by Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. The system of the Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying process in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. Verse number 40. Adharma abhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha strishu dustashu varshneya jayate varnashankaraha. When religion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and for the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. Verse number 41. Shankaro naraka eva kulagnyanam kulasya cha vatanti pitaro hi esam lupta pindo dakakriyaha. An increase of unwanted population certainly caused hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. So, the important verse is quoted by Srila Prabhupada in purport. Devarshi bhutapta nuranam pritrunam na kinkaro nayam vicharajan sarvatmanaya sharanyam gato mukundam parihrutya kartam. Meaning of this sloka is quoted from Bhagavatam 11th canto, chapter 5, verse number 41. Anyone who has taken the shelter of lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 42. Doser ite kulagnanam varnashankara karakai utsadyante jati dharma kula dharmascha shashvataha. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Community purport. Community projects for the four orders of human society, combined with family welfare activities as they set forth by the institution of Sanatana Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma, are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society, and consequently people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos. So, as we saw in the previous session, just a recap, that 39th verse says that Arjuna says to Krishna, with the destruction of the dynasty or Vamsh, the eternal family tradition is destroyed or vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in religion. So, when the elderly people of the family are devastated or destroyed by the certain by me in the war, if I wage war against them, then there will be no elderly persons existing in that family. So the youngest people will not take up the religion or will not take up the religious principles. They will not carry out the religious principles, or they will not follow the religious principles, so that the Varnashrama Dharma will not be in practice. So they will stop all the spiritual activities, so that there will be chaos in the society, there will be disturbance in the society, and there will be a lot of irreligious activities prevails, so that the society will not be in a smooth manner. The society will not exist or prevalent in a very good condition or a better condition, because no elderly person, since the elderly persons knows all religious principles and they are well versed and their expertise in following sanatana dharma or in following varnashrama dharma, the four varnas and four the ashramas, chaturvarnam gunakarma vivakashya. Chaturvarnam, Krishna says in 4th chapter, chaturvarnam gunakarma vivakashya. So there are four varnas and four ashramas. So Krishna says according to the quality, the caste or the jati is divided, not according to the birth. So the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is the four varnas, and the four ashramas are Brahmana, Brahmacharya ashrama, Sannyas ashrama, Grostha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama, Sannyas ashrama. So Brahmanas, they study the scriptures, study the shastras, they perform yagnas, sankirtana yagnas, and they preach, they guide the people, they guide the remaining varnas or the Kshatriya, Sudra, and Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra, so that the religious principles will always be in a better manner. It will always be in a what can I say, in a modern, they will exist throughout their life. So they teach the younger ones, so that their younger ones will also follow after their demise or after their non-existence, so after their departure. So that is why elderly persons are very, very, very much needed for the society and for the family. So Arjuna claims that I will not devastate or I will not vanquish the elderly persons, because such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. So there will not be any point of salvation or mukti for the younger ones, since the elderly ones are not there, since the elderly ones in their absence of elderly ones, because younger ones will follow irreligious habits, which creates so many disturbances in the society, and it becomes very problematic in the society. The 40 slokas, verse number 40 says, when irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of family becomes polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So when the elderly ones are vanquished and the women become polluted, and there will be no protection to the women, because the women are supposed to be protected. It is recommended in the Shastras, it is imposed to the society that women's, children's, the old people and cows, all these things should be protected by the elderly people, or by the society, or by the administrators. So a good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashrama religious principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for general spiritual progress. So Prabhupada here throws light or focus on the good population, means one who follows the religious principles, one who follows the sanatana dharma, that is good Krishna consciousness or pure devotional service, so that there will be always peace, prosperity, and the spiritual progress will always be prevalent. It will always be existing. So the present society or concerned authorities should take up the action so that the Varnashrama Dharma should be introduced in all walks of life to human at large, for the humanity at large. So such population depends on, because such population depends on chastity and the faithfulness of its womanhood. When the woman is chaste, then there will be definitely, society will you can create a good population, and we can always carry out the religious principles recommended in the Shastras. That is why women should be protected, and women should not be exposed to the different categories or different provinces. So because there should be protection to the women, and women should maintain her chastity. So because Chanukya Pandit says women are not so intelligent, they are dull head. Generally they are not very intelligent, because Shastra says, and they are therefore not trustworthy also. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to good population eligible for participating in the Varnashrama system. So to maintain the Varnashrama system, or to carry out the Varnashrama system, or to introduce the Varnashrama system, or to implement it, the women should given so women should be engaged in pure devotional activities, and so that the women can give their children the good education. They can educate them in a proper manner, so that the children will not become unwanted population, and the women also will be engaged her mind and senses in bringing up the children, or in cultivating the children, or in educating the children, so that there will not be a corruption, or there will not be any pollution in their activities. So the chastity and the purity of the women will be maintained for the welfare of the society. On the failure of such Varnashrama Dharma, naturally women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. So if Varnashrama Dharma gets failure, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, as we are seeing in the present society. In the modern society, girls mix with boys and boys mix with girls, and they do all sorts of irreligious activities, so that the adultery may exist. It creates adultery. So irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus it leads unwanted children and flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. As we can see, if you happen to see in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a story about the Devayani and Sharmishta. Both were very good friends. When they went to the river to bathe in the river, so when they were bathing, suddenly some few men approached their way, so that they were in a hurry. They are forced to cover their body. So in that hurry, both forgotten, and both of their dresses got exchanged. And during that time, what happened? Their dresses got exchanged, And after that, after the uh, incident, they saw their dresses got exchanged, and both got angry, and both started fighting each other, because Sharmishta Devayani is a girl, is a Brahmanical girl, son of daughter of Sukracharya, and Sharmishta is a Kshatriya, by a son and daughter of a Kshatriya. And Sharmishta says, "We are high class Brahmins. How dare you can wear my dress?" And Sharmishta says, "We are Kshatriya, and Brahmanas are maintained by Kshatriyas. You are all our servants." Sharmishta claims, and Devayani claims, "You are our servants, because we only guide you in all the activities, in all the administrative activities." So both got fighted. It has become very aggravated. Then Sharmishta got angry because she is a Kshatriya. She threw Devayani into the well, and mercilessly she left the place. So one king, one Kshatriya by name Yayati, approached her way, because she was crying and crying and crying. She heard that sound, crying sound. Then he approached her and says, "What happened to you? Who threw you in this well?" Then my friend Sharmishta, both were fighting, and she threw me here mercilessly. So please, some other, please help me. Then Yayati has to give his hand, so that he can held up and pull her from the well. So here we have to observe that Yayati is a Kshatriya, and the Devayani is a Brahmanical girl. So a Brahmanical girl and Yayati is Kshatriya. So Kshatriya became very proud, because in those days, in the olden days, once you touch the other women, you must marry, and you cannot refuse her. Similarly, a woman, if she touches any man, then she has to marry him. So without refusing, without hesitation. So immediately they gave her hand, and somehow other she got rescued. And Devayani said, "Somehow other you touched my hand, so you have to marry me. But before marrying me, I have some condition. You have to fulfill my desires." My friend Sharmishta, she narrated all the story, what has happened like. So you have to bring her here, and you have to made her my you have to make her my servant. Only then I'll marry. So Yayati said, "Okay, right, I will do that. I will fulfill your desires." Then both of them got married, and both of them got progeny. And Yayati, somehow or other, he was not able to fulfill the desires of Devayani. I think I've forgotten. He has married Sharmishta also, I think. So he has married Sharmishta, and Devayani got wild, and she got very much disappointed, because Yayati was not able to fulfill her desires. So she went and approached her father Shukracharya, and Shukracharya went to Yayati, and they both exchanged some harsh words. And Shukracharya somehow or other cursed him that you will become very old man. You will have the body of an old man. And so somehow or other Yayati requested and pleased the Muni sage Shukracharya, "Please, somehow or other I committed a mistake, please forgive me." Then see, I cannot take back the curse, but I can give one suggestion, or I can help you. I can make you one favor. I can do one favor. The what favor is that you can exchange your old body to your youth from one of your sons, if they accept it. That is the only help I can do it. That is the only favor I can do it. So he left the place. Then afterwards, he got some two sons, and Yayati told them to exchange their youth body to old body to youth, and youth to old. And both the sons refused the father's offering, and Yayati got angry, and Yayati kicked them off, and they went to some far off place. Greece or Greece. They went to the country called Greece, and there they become the ancestors there. And one of the youngest sons of Yayati called Puru, he knows that the religious principles. He accepted the body of his father because that is the duty of his son. So then immediately Puru accepted it, and Yayati was very much satisfied. Though both of them got exchanged, and again Yayati approached Devayani. He went to her, and both of them enjoyed for a long years. And finally, when Yayati got at the age of 50, then he relieved from he renounced all the material desires and material world, and somehow or other he was able to endeavor for the moksha. Then he went to the forest for tapasya and austerities. He started doing a lot of devotional service. So then, so that is the story. Like so, in those days only Brahmanas they had supposed to be high class, and Kshatriya supposed to be the next class, the lower class. So the Brahmanas should never marry Vaishya and Sudra. That was the system. That was the Vedic system. And Kshatriyas, Sudras also cannot marry. Sudras and Vaishyas also cannot marry the Brahmanas and Brahmanas. So that was the Vedic system followed. So because there is no unwanted population here, because Puru accepted it, and Puru studied all the Shastras and Vedas. So he was able to guide the younger generation, his younger generation, so that the younger ones will not have any irreligious habits. So that was the thing happened. So that is why we should introduce Varnashrama Dharma or Sanatana Dharma in our day-to-day life. And verse number 41 says that unwanted population causes hellish life, both the family and for those who destroy the family tradition also. So here Arjuna says, if unwanted population is created, then it will destroy the whole family, and it also destroy the family who was destroyed. It will create increase of unwanted population. Increase of unwanted population leads to hellish life, both for the family, affected family, and for the family who destroyed the family tradition, So the ancestors of such corrupt families fall down. So because the performances of offering of them food or water are entirely stopped. So there is a system that when the ancestors are no more, the sons of those ancestors or grandsons of those ancestors, they have to perform the rites, the samskaras, the what is called the Shraddha Sharmani. The Shraddha Sharmani has to be performed, like offering food and water to the elderly persons, to the forefathers who have left their bodies. But at one condition, or at one thing they have to bear in mind, that the food and offer should be first offered to Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then those remnants should be offered to the ancestors, so that they will get the liberation, even though if they are in a hellish planet or in lower planetary systems among the 14 realms. So here, otherwise, if a devotee is fully under the shelter of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, then there is no obligation for that particular pure devotee who has taken the shelter of Mukunda. He need not offer any, he need not forego any obligations, or he need not carry any obligations to his forefathers or to any other living entities or to rishis, because he has taken the shelter of the Mukunda, who is the giver of mukti. So simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery, because It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 5th chapter, 41st sloka. It says that anyone who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by the performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse number 42 says that by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. So here in the verse 42 it says that by these evil deeds, those who destroy the family traditions and thus creates unwanted population, Varna Shankara, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. So by creating unwanted population and destroying the family tradition, the community projects for the four orders of human society combined with the family welfare activities as they set forth by the institution of Sanatana Dharma and Varnashrama Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain the ultimate salvation. So here it means to say that if anyone who creates unwanted population or destroys the family tradition, definitely the community projects will get stopped, or the community projects for the four orders of the human society. So whatever the projects are forecasted for the four orders of the human society, Varnashrama Dharma or Sanatana Dharma, are designed to enable, they are all designed to enable and to attain the ultimate salvation. So if this gets, if the break, or if there is a breakup of Sanatana Dharma or tradition by irresponsible leaders of society, it brings chaos in the society. So unwanted population or one who destroys the family tradition, they will break this welfare activities, family welfare activities, which are designed by the forefathers or which are designed by the responsible leaders. But irresponsible leaders who break this Sanatana Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma, they brings chaos in the society, and people will not take up the religious principles, and they will be forced to do the irreligious habits, and they are forced to go against the Vedic injunctions. So consequently, people forget the aim of human life, that is Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas, because Dasanu Dasa we should be the servant of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So persons who are such leaders are sure to be led into chaos. So in short, to say that there should be a Varnashrama Dharma, or the Sanatana Dharma should always exist. It should always be eternal throughout the human society, so that there will be always peace, prosperity, and spirituality will exist, and there will not be any miscreants. There will not be any miscreants, and there will not be any confusions and chaos. So there will not be any precarious conditions. The society will go in a smooth way. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is why one should always follow the responsible leaders in the society. We should follow the footsteps of responsible leaders, because they have taken the sincere, they are the sincere followers of religious principles. So one should follow them always, and there will be no loss, and there will always be peace will be maintained, and spirituality will be maintained, and devotional services will go on in a very greater manner. To the greater extent, people will take up, and there will not be any loss or there will not be any diminution in the society, because all the Vedic principles and Vedic system are followed by all the people of the society.